Hi, my name is Barry Crampton. Today I want to talk to you about EVs, and basically the theme is be careful what you wish for. In order to get something that you wish for, sometimes I suppose you have to trample on people on the way. I'll start it off with an old joke. Guy goes to an antique shop and he sees this mirror he likes. It's in the corner, all dirty and dusty. Gets it home, hangs it up, gets a duster and he's rubbing on the mirror, cleaning it up. And all of a sudden, mirror lights up and there's a face there, it's a genie. And the genie says, I'm going to grant you one wish. Think carefully. What do you want? The guy thinks about it for a bit and he says, make my willy touch the floor. And his legs drop off. That's being careful what you wish for. All the EV people are wishing that the EV sales were going up. They're not. I'll show you why. and I'll just show you the short-sightedness of these people. This is the second video I've done on this. I did one yesterday, but when I was editing it, I had a face like thunder to start off with. I swore too much. I called people names. All the stuff that, you know, don't get you anywhere. But I really don't understand these people. You know, that they're so desperate for a win to grab the slightest bit of positive news out of nothing, out of stuff that's not there. And it always seems to come down to one of my favourites. And I don't follow him. You know, when people go on at me, I say, well, don't follow me. And some of them say, well, I don't, but your tweet keeps appearing in my timeline. And it's the same with this chap. He annoys me immensely. Comes across as couldn't give him a toss about anybody else. All he wants is electric cars at any price. Now, the other thing I'd say is, what have the people from the future ever done for us? And the answer is nothing. I was on holiday last year, and I was talking to there's a doctor. I got talking to this doctor, and the doctor was smoking and drinking. And I said to him, I was drinking, I wasn't smoking. And I said to him, you know, I thought being a doctor, you'd like go easy on that sort of stuff. And he says, why do I want to go easy? So I'll get an extra 3 weeks in a nursing home. And that's it. You've got one life. You've got one life. Should we really be sapping every little bit of enjoyment out of our life so that people can live in the future? They're not born yet. And, you know, what are we saving? Eventually, the sun is going to burn out. Who knows? Perhaps we'll get hit by a comet. You know, we'll have the cleanest air ever, and we'll get hit by a comet. And as you know, the more oxygen there is in the atmosphere, the bigger the explosion. So perhaps if we had more CO2 and a comet hit us, we'd survive. Who knows? The first masterpiece tweet here. Electric car prices slashed by a third to meet net zero sales targets. Good. This is the ZEV mandate in action. Manufacturers are discounting their EVs as they compete for sales to hit their targets. Prices coming down and sales going up. Dan Gray, BBC News, global EV sales slowing. Truth. Now, Dan Gray knows the truth. EV sales are growing rapidly worldwide. Well, they're not. They're not growing rapidly worldwide. They might be built rapidly. They might be installed rapidly. They might be parked on fields rapidly, but they ain't growing. So that's kind of the first one. Then Colin Walker, this is the guy from the Climate Intelligence Unit. This The notion that slowing down the transition to EVs will protect traditional car makers is disingenuous, because he's an expert on car makers and the manufacturers. He's an expert. He was, what did he do before? Something to do with cyclists, was it? I forget what it is, but I'm sure it was something to do with cyclists, so he knows all about cars. The notion that slowing down the transition to EVs will protect traditional car makers is disingenuous, whether it's made in the UK, the US or the EU. Markets are moving to EVs. If these car makers don't move with them, others will fill the gap they leave, i.e. China. The legacy automakers, they seem to be doing quite all right when they were making ICE cars. Now they're making EVs, they're losing money and they're making people redundant. You know, it's not just the manufacturers. I mean, recently BMW, Audi, VW and Nissan have pointed out that there are going to be redundancies. There's a whole load of car dealers making people redundant. There's a whole load of car dealers reporting losses. And to be honest, I would put it down to they've tried to sell EVs, they can't, they've lost a fortune, especially on used ones. And it's the same with the leasing companies. The leasing companies are bleating. Everybody who's involved, everybody who's got money, everybody who's involved that's got money tied up in the game are all moaning. Colin here, he sits behind a desk somewhere telling people what they should do for his agenda. It's just, you know, just ridiculous. Then we go on to, I like this notion from Andy at Auto, who knows the car industry like the back of his hand. The discounting on new EV prices is about an industry being forced to get fit. And that's what Colin says. That's his insight into the business. Dr. Andy Palmer, the automotive market prices its cars based on the market price, but there has been inconsistency with EVs being priced above what the UK consumer is prepared to pay. Recent surges in new and used EV volume suggest a correction, as can be seen in this chart. Now, I can't begin to start to tell you how stupid that is. These people are having to make vehicles that cost more than they can sell them for. So they're losing money on virtually every transaction. They can't sell them at the price it costs them to make, so they have to reduce them and make them cheaper than petrol, cheaper than diesels, so that people will buy them. Otherwise, you know, if nobody buys, I mean, I don't know which is the best thing, whether you've got all this stuff in stock that you've made, or where you're just eating away at your capital by selling them for less than you've got. I mean, VW, you know, they got fined, was it 33 billion for Dieselgate? 33 billion is a hefty slap. I would bet that they wish for the Dieselgate times and only losing 33 billion like that. I think they would look back at that fond memories, because now I'm pretty sure they'll be losing a lot more. So anyway, and another this. The British car industry died from refusing to adapt. New German automakers show the same symptoms, clinging to old tech, dismissing new players, losing global relevance. That's his opinion. My opinion is that the British car industry died from refusing to go to work, from going on strike. The British Leyland place here, the night shift, actually had a room made out of boxes where they clocked on and then went to sleep. That's probably what they died of. You know, they had a little room where they could go and sleep. Here we go. Video of me talking about October's new car sales data, including, against my better judgment, the use of Team's cheesy fireworks reaction thingy. Climate Centre. New October car sales figures from the SMMT. Only electric car sales saw growth last month. EV market share is now at 20.7%. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the market shrunk but electric cars have gone up? Anybody? You at the back there? Would you think that the car makers realise that they're going to have to spend £15,000 on every car over and above, or every ICE cars over and above what they need to sell to get the percentage for EVs? Do you think they're going to do that? Do you think they're going to sell a £16,000 Corsa and then pay a £15,000 fine? They're not going to do that, are they? And I'll just show you something else. I've no way of checking if this is true. I've no reason to think that the chap would lie for any reason. But one of my followers is buying a new car, buying a petrol car, and the garage have told them that they can't let him have it till January. In my opinion, that's why the percentage of EVs are going up. They're not going up. They're staying the same. They're still pre-registering, but they're stopping registering petrols and diesels. So therefore, it's allowing the EVs to creep up at the expense of petrol and diesel, at the expense of the cars that they were making money off. Now, when I said before, be careful what you wish for. So if we go to Auto Trader and just enlarge it there, and then we've got year, we want brand new, so brand new, and then we look at the price. So we'll put from any to, you'll see here, we'll say to 20,000. And then we go down and we look at the fuel type. Oh, that's on petrol at the moment. So you'll see there that up to 20,000, there are only 113 electrics, 1,106 petrols. And this will just be a small sample of the petrols. You know, there'll be all different colours, same specs and so on, different specs, all different colours. They'll just advertise one. So there's virtually 10 times more petrols available underneath the £20,000 mark. Do you think they're going to sell those if they have to pay £15,000 to sell them? Does it cost them more than £5,000 to make a nice car? I would think so. Then we'll go from 20 to 30. Now you see, from 20 to 30, there's 2,609 petrols, 1,362 hybrids and 867 electrics, only 53 diesels. So between 20 to 30,000, there's only 53 diesels. We'll go from 30,000 to 40,000. Now then, 1,409 petrols, 999 electrics. Can you see what's happening? 40,000 to 50,000. 769 petrols, 960 electrics. But now we're getting into the realms where the manufacturers could possibly sell one of those, pay the €15,000 fine, and perhaps still make money. I doubt it, but we're on the edge there. $50,000 to $60,000. Only 350 petrols, 789 electrics. 60 to 70. Oh. $153 petrols, 286 electrics. So now electrics are going down. $70 to 100. Petrols 359, electrics 428. $75 to 250. Electrics 450, petrol 894. So the petrol is starting going up now. This is when they're going to be able to pay the £15,000 fine, still make money, carry on selling their electric, but actually make money on something, because the electric ones, they must be losing money, they must be losing a fortune. So if I was the manufacturer, I would be pushing these petrol cars now. If I was a dealer, I'd be pushing these petrol cars now, because these are the ones we're going to be making money on. If I go up to 500,000, there we go, 895 petrols, 450 electrics. CO2 emissions. Wow. Look at them. Look at the CO2 emissions. So by finding the manufacturers £15,000, they're forcing them to sell gas guzzlers, ones with high emissions, there we go. We'll go up to 6.5 litres. So from 75 to £500,000, there are 884 petrols, 528 diesels, 802 hybrids, and 112 electrics. Now if we just tick those, we'll go down to engine size. You'll see those. You see the engine sizes there. So by putting this £15,000 fine on ICE cars, the people who can afford, or can only afford to buy £15,000 to £20,000 car can't do it anymore. The people who can afford to buy a 6.5 litre here gas guzzler and pollute the planet, they can still do it. Government aren't going to find the manufacturers for doing that. They can carry on. CO2 emissions. There you go. Be careful what you wish for, Colin. And Andy, who knows the motor trade like the back of his hand, who introduced the Nissan Leaf. What a shame he didn't start changing the motor trade when he had the chance, when he first introduced the Nissan Leaf. What a shame he didn't streamline Nissan, because now Nissan are looking to get rid of 9,000 jobs, is it? 6,000 in the UK. It's great having hindsight, isn't it? You know, it's great being able to look back and make something suit your agenda. It's great being able to ridicule manufacturers from when you sat behind your desk at the Climate Intelligence Unit, all those people's lives and all those people's jobs to save the planet for the future. That's the back of my hand, and I know what I'd like to do with it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.